Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and I'll be your instructor for this video tutorial series. And we're going to be talking about how to UV map a short sleeve shirt, and we'll be using UDEM tiles. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so now we want to right click over this and go to edge mode, okay? And then we want to go to UV, go down to 3D cut and sew UV tool. Go into the option box. We want to reset that tool. You can close this now. There we go. And so now we're ready to cut our UVs. Now you notice that Maya has already got some seams in there already. And that's all that is showing us, is that there are ends to our clothing. So we've got this collar that ends here, and then our shirt sleeves, interior of the shirt sleeves are in there, and at the bottom. And we're going to keep those. That's okay. All right. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just get started with the arms. Okay, so just a quick recap of how this works. If I double click on this, it will create an seam all the way around the edge loop. Okay, so I can go Control Z to go back. I can also, if I do that, double click on it, it follows the all the way around. Now if it doesn't follow the way around and you have a break, that means that you probably have an N-gon somewhere or a triangle somewhere. So it won't, obviously triangles mess up your edge loops, and N-gons will mess up your edge loops. So you'll probably have to fix or clean that up before you start on this process. But if not, if you don't want to, you can just find where it stopped and then hold the shift key down and double click, and it should go all the way around the other side. It's however you want to work. Okay, with that said, I want to take you through how you can delete this edge loop too as well. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer, okay? And I'm going to hold down the Control key. Okay, I'm going to double click on that. You can see that gets rid of it. The Control key, if you double click on the edge again, will delete the whole edge. Okay, so let's play with this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this one. Okay, I'm going to hold this shift key and click on this one, and I'm going to double click on this one. Okay, notice that it just went from here to here, so that's kind of nice. Let's say if I want to cut from here, so if I hold down the shift key, cut from here to here, double click on that, it just cuts that area. Same thing with holding down the Control key. If I hold down the Control key, click on this one, and then double click on this one, it will just get rid of that. So I want you to practice that, and that will make you feel a lot more comfortable how that all works. Okay? Again, I'll show you. If you hold the shift key down, click on one, and you want to go just up to this crease here, just hold the shift key and double click on it, and it will only do that seam or cut that piece from here to here. Okay, so I'm going to Control Z back. Okay, so that's how the tools work. It's pretty simple. Okay, so I'm going to double click on that, and that should, oops, let's Control Z all the way around. So we're just going to double click. Whoops, I got one. There we go. Click off, and let's see if it'll, oops, wrong one. There we go, all the way around. Okay, all right, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Okay. And I'm going to do the collar here. Since I'm right here, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Double click on this and see how that breaks right there. There's a little seam break, but I know where I want to go with this, so I'm going to double click on this one, and that will go down. Should go down all the way down to the bottom of the shirt, hopefully. Okay, there we go. And then what I want to do with this, again, this is, your shirt may be different, right? So I'm going to go from this side over like this, and then double click on this, and double click on this, and this should go all the way around to the other side. I'm just going to follow that around, make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. That'll go to the other side here, like that. And then I'm just going to double click on this guy right here. You can see where it ended up, and it's going to go right up there. all the way around again to that point. And we're going to go ahead and double click on this guy right here. Okay. And it may stop right there. I don't know. We'll have to see. And that should go all the way around. Now I'm going to hit the 4 key and kind of follow that edge around because I can't see that edge, okay, where it stops, okay, and should go all the way around. Okay, that's very hard to see because I've got this top part kind of difficult, you know, the collar is hiding stuff, so I'm going to hit the 5 key again and just kind of follow that around where it should be. Okay, and it should have an edge loop on here, so I'm going to double click on this guy right here. Now you're sure it's going to be different, of course. Double click on that and just see where it goes on here, and we want to make sure that we finalize that area right here, and that piece is hidden. Okay, so I'm going to hit the 4 key so I can see in, and just make sure that the collar it's going around. You can see where it highlights right there, and it's connecting to this part. Okay, and this gets tricky when your geometry is underneath other geometry. Okay, but I can see that it is going where it needs to go, and I'm gonna look at the other side too as well and just double check and make sure that's looking good. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna hit the 5 key again. All right, so there's the collar, and we need to have I believe we have a cut in the center here, so we can lay that out, and you can experiment with that. I really don't like a seam right here. I definitely don't want to seam down the back, especially if the character turns around or something like that. So a lot of this is experimental. You know, you may make mistakes. And when you go into Substance Painter and you add the texture, you're like, whoa, that's not what I wanted, you know. So you go from there. Okay. All right. So another seam would be basically a 90-degree angle would be fine for a seam. Okay, and that's natural. So we can add that if we want to on both sides. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do the outside here. Okay. And then we've got our seam here, and this is where we want that seam to go all the way down. And we need to know which one we want to use. Okay, so it looks like this is on the upper, this is the lower, so I want to make sure the lower part is selected. So this line, this edge is pushed up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this line right here, okay, and follow that around here, double click on that, and then follow that around here, okay, to the end right here. And I know it goes over here, so I'm going to double click on that, and that should go all the way down the shirt. Now I'm going to double check this. Again, this is very tight area here that I need to kind of look into and make sure they are attached. I'm going to hit the 4 key again and just kind of move that around to make sure I have a seam that goes all the way down. What can I do? So I'm going to hit the 5 key again. Okay, and there we go. Again, you'll have to experiment to make sure that you're getting what you want. I'm going to follow this all the way around now. This is really important. Hold the shift key down, just double click on that. There we go. It should go all the way up. There we go. So that looks good. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Just kind of follow what we've been doing. Okay, same kind of thing where we're going to want to hold the shift key and double click on that one. And just make sure it goes all the way, follows that edge all the way down. There we go. When you make a mistake, you'll know it because when you unfold it, it won't look right. It'll be like if you miss like one little edge. Like let's say I didn't see this, and I just do a control on that, and I do something like this. And I miss a couple of these. Don't get it all the way around. Whoops. And I'm holding the shift key down, and I missed this one right here. Well, it's going to hang on. It's going to think that's still connected, and it'll really look weird when you unfold it. Okay, so I'm going to, because I don't want to mess up the whole thing, I'm just going to delete that whole edge there and start again. So I'm going to double click on this guy right here and get underneath and double click on this one, go all the way around. There we go. I'm going to go up in here, make sure that's all done, and just double check and make sure I don't miss anything, because it's easy to miss things, little edges and stuff here and there. Okay. A lot of times, because I don't have a edge that goes between these two and move down like I have I think it was the collar. Yeah, the collar has that nice edge here. You may want to add an edge here, which I didn't have before, but I was thinking about I'm gonna do that, and that will make it. That'll lay that out, the thickness, and it's probably never going to be seen, and I shouldn't really worry about it, but I'm going to go ahead and do that just for the sake of keeping everything looking good. So I've got to be careful with this. So I'm going to go in here and just go through this, and then double click on that and go double click on that, and that takes me through all the way. It should take me all the way around. If not, then I'll have to kind of follow where it stopped. And it looks like it stopped at that edge right there. So I'm going to continue this, hold the shift key down, and double click until it goes all the way around. Okay, again, double check your work when you're working with this stuff, and watch for the breaks. There's a break right here. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down the shift key and double click on that, and it should go all the way around then at that point. All right, one little piece here, see? One little piece can make a difference. So I'm going to double click on that, and that should finish that off. Okay. Well, you're asking yourself, why don't you do the inside piece here? I probably could. You could see that it does go up through this part here, you know. But I want to just leave it. You can't see it, and it's not going to be a big deal. So you kind of have to pick your fights, what's going to be seen, what's not going to be seen, what you can do, what you probably need to cut. Part of me would love to cut from here around and have a seam right here, or down here a little bit farther down. We'll see how it lays out, because I do have a feeling that might have to cut that to get the UVs to be laid out properly. Okay, but for now it looks pretty good. I think it looks nice, and we've got cuts all the inside, just double checking everything, following the seams or 90 degree angles that you can't see the breaks between the two, or they're so small that it doesn't matter. Okay, so there it is. That's it. And what you want to do is hit the Q key. Okay, right click over the object, go to selection mode. Okay, you can see all the poly cuts we have. Okay, for now we want to keep those. You don't want to delete history just yet. Okay,